y'all, I'm Emily, the Shady Grove Stitcher, and I love creating beautiful hand-stitched pieces. Welcome to the Pink Room, where I share my love of cross-stitch by showcasing projects I've completed in my quest to fill an antique cabinet my husband and I inherited from my in-laws. Hi friends, happy Wednesday, so happy to see you. I have made an astonishing number of notes, and I am 0% confident that I'm going to be able to stay on track or get my life together, but I'm going to give it a whirl. So I wanted to circle back on a couple of things. You guys were really funny last time. I told you in Flosstube episode number 5 that there was a situation with my husband's beard trimmer. And Joan said, "What, pray tell, do you use a beard trimmer for?" So I told you that whole story, and I didn't even tell you what was going on with the beard trimmer. It wasn't me. I don't use the beard trimmer, so let's get that straight for starters. My husband gets his hair cut every 4 weeks, and between haircuts, he likes for me to clean up his neckline so that it's like nice and tidy. And so, I'm sorry, I just hit the table. So he has me shave his neck. That's what the beard trimmer is for. I mean, he uses it to shave his beard, and in cases where he forgets to put the guard on, he shaves part of his beard off. Oops. But that was our goal. We had been using the beard trimmer so that I could trim up his neck, and then the guard didn't get put back on, and he took off part of his beard. So that was the whole story on that one. Sorry I didn't close the loop for you guys. And then Wendy said, "Okay, I have to know, did your mom watch that video?" She didn't. I didn't say anything that she would be surprised to hear. I didn't say anything I haven't said to her face or her ears if I was talking to her on the phone. Zero concerns about any of it. But no, I don't teach her to use social media. I think she could probably figure out YouTube if she had to. But I don't encourage her. It's just, my parents have started listening to YouTube for sleep stories, which I guess people post sleep stories. Well, they're not even sleep stories. It's like sleep music. They have a black screen and they play nice music, and apparently it doesn't have ads. And my parents have been listening to this at night, so they know how to do sleep videos. Kinda, whatever. I feel like in their state of retirement, if they want to take the time to figure out how to use YouTube, they can knock their lights out, but I'm not getting involved. So no. And then a couple of you guys emailed me and said, "Oh, I wanted to send you some information. I hope it's okay." And yes, it's fine. My email is always in the description. Email me anything you want. Send me a note on social media. Send me Instagram, because you can't send me a note on YouTube other than making a comment, but leave a comment or send a message or whatever. Like, I'm not special. I just sit here in this spare bedroom, talk to you guys through the TV. So, I mean, yeah, I'm very available. Anything you want to say ever, I'm here for it. Hit me up. Email, inboxes, comments, all the above. Let's do it. Okay, so those are all the loop closures from last time. Couple of quick updates on other things. I stitched every day of January and every day of February, and I didn't count those days, but tally them up in your brain. That's how many days I've stitched in a row, plus all the days of March. I think I mentioned it before, but I'll tell you again in case you're new. My friend Carrie of Red Velvet Quilts. I'm starting to feel like I talk about Carrie as much as I talk about my husband, which is fine. I mean, I also told you that we are cross-stitch codependent, but anyway, last year, Carrie had stitched every day of 2024, up until a point. She was going through a new home build, and she needed something to like keep her focused and distract her from all the crap that was going on with her build, because it was kind of a zoo there for a minute. But she did it. I thought it was really cool. So I decided I wanted to give it a whirl. So I've been tracking it, and I'm doing it. It's happening. It's actually happening, and I think that's pretty neat. You guys also gave me, let's pause for a second. I noticed that I talk with my hands a lot. And when I edit the video, I crop it in. And so sometimes it's just like a random finger. I need to get my hands under control, y'all. That needs to happen sometime this year. Anyway, needlework stands. So you guys had a ton of suggestions. If you're interested in a needlework stand, I recommend you going back and checking the comments because folks had a lot to say about what they use, why they like it, whatnot, etc. I thought it was very valuable, and I so appreciate all you guys taking time to tell me what you use, why you use it, what you like, what you don't, etc. That just blew my mind with all of your suggestions. Also gave me so much to think about. I have made a decision. I have made a purchase. It arrived yesterday, so I haven't used it. I don't want to tell you what it is. I don't want to tell you how I feel. Well, it was supposed to arrive sometime. Okay. I live outside of town, and the UPS guy comes usually at like 10 or 11 in the morning. So I tried so hard to get so much done at work so that once the UPS man came, I could set up my new stand and use it. I thought it would be so fun. Delivered at 8:30. 8:30 at night. So there was no stand unboxing playing yesterday. I have unboxed it now, and I have played with it a little, and I am cautiously optimistic, although it's weird, but I knew it would be weird because I currently stitch holding a hoop in one hand and stitching with the other. So when you're not holding the hoop, like, what do you do with this hand, guys? What do you do? Well, now I look like I'm eating cereal. Well, what do you do with your hand? So I was trying stitching with two hands. There are two things I'm noticing that have to happen. A, I have to get used to putting my hands in my lap. Oh my God. A, I have to get used to using a stand, and then B, I have to get used to, if I'm gonna stitch with two hands, trying that. But trying to adapt to the stand and two hands at the same time was a little bit much. So we're gonna try one and then the other. When I see you in my next Flosstube, and I kind of hate to, God, the hands again. I hate to delay my feelings on the stand, but I do want to use it for a little while so that I can say, this is what I think is awesome. Hopefully there's not anything where I'm like, this is not awesome. Although I will say there's already been a situation. Okay, so I sit on a couch and here's my needlework, right? I've got my needlework. I use a magnifier. So the magnifier is between my face and the needlework, right? So I push the needle up from behind the work. I pull it, did I say needlework? Push the needle up through I pull with my left hand. The left hand hits the magnifier hits me in the face. That was the point at which I was like, you know what? I think we need to do stand and then two hands because I can't keep assaulting myself while I'm trying to learn to use this. That's how it's going at this house. But like I said, I decided I will tell you all about what I decided and why I decided it when we talk about it, but that'll be next time. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was floss drops, because I asked you what floss drops you use, what you like, what you don't like. Lots of suggestions on that as well. I think you guys are a little bit more passionate about stands than you are about floss drops, and that's fine. No harm, no foul. But my friend Christy, K. Hines Designs, she uses these wood drops. I'll put a picture in. I think they're really beautiful. These are kind of my top two contenders. These wood drops that Christy found, and then Maggie has been using some acrylic drops. Now, Maggie says peeling the paper off of the acrylic drops is kind of a pain in the rear. But I keep going back to Annie's Keepers, and when I compare the size of Annie's to the size of the ones that Maggie found, they are like Maggie's are 1/4 of an inch larger. And so I think I'm just gonna go with those. Haven't made an official decision, would love to reserve the right to change my mind on that, but that's kind of where I think I'm headed. And then I will probably get those Pip and Chip stickers because they are color coded, and everybody who uses the Pip and Chip stickers says that they adhere like crazy, which I love. So I think that I will probably end up doing that, but more to come next time on stands and floss drops. Now, loosely related to organizational hootenanny, when we first started this Flosstubery that we're doing here, we were talking about this cabinet, right? And how I want to fill this cabinet. Nothing has changed in the cabinet since we started this song and dance. Most notably down here, I had a featherweight, a Singer featherweight. And it's getting worse, guys. Instead of filling up the cabinet, I'm emptying it out. So in our living room, we have a huge fireplace. It's like 9 feet wide. It's ridiculous. We have this huge fireplace, and then on either side, there were these niches. When I say niche, typically I think of like a little small thing, like maybe you could put a wee statue, or like in an older home, you would put a telephone in it. These things are like 5 feet wide and 3 feet deep. They're huge. The previous owners put bookshelves in them, which was fine, but when we were talking about what we could put in there, I told my husband, I was like, I don't want to put bookshelves, because if I put bookshelves, I'm going to fill them up with stuff. And if I fill them up with stuff, then I'm going to have to dust all that stuff, and I don't want to do that. So we have actually put in base cabinets and countertops. We have a lot of wood accents. There's like we have beams, and then there's the mantle is wood. So it's not weird. I'll see if I can get you a picture. But anyway, it's still a lot of space to fill. It's a big room. They're 14-foot ceilings. And I've been trying to figure out, like, what can I put in this niche to fill it up? And so I have a couple of antique rocks and some rug beaters and like a water cooler thingy and some lamps. And I was waiting around on Floss to show up for Dasher and Dancer, and I kept just like fiddling with these niches. And I have an antique sewing box, you know, those accordion ones that kind of unfold out or whatever. I have one of those. So I put it in there, and then I put the featherweight, and now there's like even less in this cabinet. So that's special. I do have plans. I finished the swan. Do you guys follow me on Instagram? I've been working on a swan. We talked about the swan last time, I think. I've been working on summer swan. I didn't think grits was ever gonna end. It was like grits for days. That swan took forever, and it didn't look like a swan until I finally put her head on. Once I put her head on, I was like, oh, she's no longer an amorphous blob. Amazing. But I finished her, and I think I'm gonna turn her into a stand-up, but we'll see. I watched videos from Vanna Pfeiffer. I feel cautiously optimistic that I can pull it off, but I need to do the swan, so the swan can live in there. Well, she can live in there for the summer, which in Texas is until like October. And then I also, on one of these little floss tuberies, I have Batter Up from Don't Tell Me I Know the Answer, Little House Needleworks. And I have an idea for how to finish it, but I was also gonna do a step-by-step sort of, not like a live animated, but kind of how I did for Main Street, where I just showed you the pictures of how I did it. You should tell me if that was interesting to you. Why don't you let me know in the comments below if you give one hoot about how I finish something? Because if you do, I'll include it. If you're like, I don't care, then I will save myself the trouble. So that can live up there for summer too. So I have things. I'm starting to amass the things to put in the cabinet, but they're not all done yet. So we're going down in quantity. It gets worse before it gets better, right? I was having a little trouble trying to decide between projects and then SAL, or SAL and then projects. And I think let's do SAL first, project second. So Dasher and Dancer SAL is off and running. You guys have been tagging us like crazy in your posts. If I don't follow you, I can't see your post. And I know what you're thinking, like, Emily, just follow me. And I'm like, well, okay, so I'm really weird. I mean, in general, I think I'm weird, but I'm super weird about social media because I sort of hyperventilate when I follow too many people. Because 45 years ago, when Instagram was born, they displayed things in chronological order. I don't want to miss anything that Instagram has to offer, okay? And when they displayed it in chronological order, I could go back in time to the last thing I saw and I could see everything else that people have posted. And then they got cute and they said, we're going to show you what we think you want to see. And I end up not seeing a lot of stuff. So I have found that if I keep the number of people I follow low, that I tend to see everything from those people. Now, that means I miss out on some good stuff. It does. But that's just how I choose to curate my feed. So I don't follow everybody who follows me, and that's why. So I miss some of your posts if I don't follow you, or if your account is private, or maybe those two things go together. Anyway, several of you who have private accounts have sent me pictures of your progress. That is amazing. I love that because then I can see and cheer you on. Two folks, I'm recording this on March 6th. You're not going to see it for another week. But anyway, two folks have already finished. I haven't even started. And I feel pretty embarrassed about that because I'm co-hosting the SAL and I know it hasn't happened. No progress has happened. But I have made decisions and that has been a challenge. I was going to use 36 count vintage maple sugar from Lakeside with pea pod. Carrie did a floss toss for me. I had decided this was it. I was really excited about it. The Lakeside showed up. I put the pea pod on it and I was like, oh no. Nope. The pea pod looked really limey to me, and the fabric, it was not the right decision. So then I sort of panicked because, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And I basically got out the linen I have, which I don't have a huge stash, so very limited choices here. I got out all my linen and I got out all my green floss and I laid it all out and I went to my husband and I said, this is the pattern we're doing. Here's all the floss I have. What would you pick? And he and I both really ended up liking Lily Pad from Weeks Dye Works paired with Melting Moments, which I got in the Fox and Rabbit Club. I do not know if Melting Moments is available widely yet, or if they just release it to the club first and maybe they're going to release it to I have no idea how it works. I know I signed up for the club. I know it comes to my mailbox. That is the extent of my knowledge. But that's how I got it. So I'm going to be using, like I said, 40 count Melting Moments from Fox and Rabbit with Lily Pad from Weeks Dye Works. And I can show you that as a photo. And I'm just really super excited about that. And then the very next day, so we've decided we spend 30 minutes doing all this, whatnot. We go to the mailbox the next day and my next delivery from Fox and Rabbit has come and it is the promise of spring. It's green. I mean, I have on a green shirt, so you can kind of tell. Here's a piece of white paper for reference. Well, I guess it's got a white label on it. You can figure it out. You're smart people. And I thought, gosh, green floss on green linen could be really fun. This caused another 30-minute discussion. What are we going to do? Are we going to do it on green? Are we going to do it on beige? What's that going to be? And ultimately, we decided to stick with Melting Moments. The reason is I think that Dasher and Dancer is a really timeless piece. I think it's one of those things I'm gonna have a long time. Whereas maybe the carolers we were looking at in my second or third Flosstube, you know, I may not have that in 20 years. And that's okay. I feel fine about having pieces that I love today that I'm not gonna keep for an eternity. But I do think that I'm gonna have Dasher and Dancer for a while. So I wanna make sure that I honor the timelessness of the piece. And I just don't think that this limey, sagey fabric is the right choice. So, but it was funny to have debated it for so long, to feel like I knew that it was vintage maple sugar, for the maple sugar to arrive and me hate it, to then decide I want to use melting moments and felt really good about that, and then promise of spring show up and I was like, oh my God. But it's okay, we've got it now, we're ready, I'm gonna start. I do want to mention to some of you, in case you are thinking of joining late, which is fine, jump in anytime. Folks who are buying the PDF are saying it's a little difficult to see when you print it. And I agree. When you're looking at it on an iPad, no problem. When you're printing it, it's a little wimpy. There are a couple of things you can do about it in your viewer on your computer. So like on a Mac, that's called Preview. I don't use Windows, so I'm not sure. My husband tells me there's some sort of picture tool. You can adjust the settings in it a little bit. So you'll want to increase the contrast or darken it a tad. Sometimes you can do that in your printer settings. So you can make some fine-tune adjustments there. I just want to be, none of us thought that that was going to be an issue. And now that we've learned it's an issue, I just want to make sure you guys are aware, if you purchase the PDF and plan to print it, it kind of prints like poop, is really where we are. Do I have anything else to tell you about it? No, other than I appreciate your enthusiasm. It's fun to see you guys stitching along. It's fun for everybody to be so excited about it. I have low grade panic about it because I'm like, oh my God, what if I don't get it done in time? But that also was kind of like spurring me along. I say it's spurring me along. I haven't started. How much is it spurring if you haven't started? So we'll see. So I'm working, well, I'm gonna be working on it. I mean, I have my hoop all ready to go. There's nothing in the hoop, but there's gonna be later today. I have been working on Christmas Bells sampler, sorry, from Heartstring Samplery. I keep wanting to call it Carol of the Bells, which is not accurate. It's really beautiful. I didn't do the color conversion. I purchased the color conversion from Keepsakes, and they are amazing. I saw them post it on Instagram. I gave them a call. I said, hi, I saw you on social media. Could you get this for me? And they said, we'd love to. And they were amazing. The linen is so good, you guys. I want to stitch every single thing on this linen. It is. Okay, now they just give me, they've cut the linen for the project, okay? So I don't know how this normally comes, but it's an Edinburgh linen. The color is smoke blue. I think it's just a Zweigart. When I did a little Googling, that's what came up. It's beautiful. Beautiful, it's just beautiful. So if you're looking for a pretty desaturated, sagey, bluey, happy linen, recommend, definitely recommend. So that's what's going on here. My plan has been, once everything arrives for Dasher and Dancer, initially I was like, I need the linen to arrive. Then the linen arrived and I thought, okay, now I need the floss to arrive. The floss is here. The floss is here. Now that everything's here, I'm ready to get started. So I'm gonna switch over from Christmas Bells. The snorting dog is not happy with me. I'm gonna switch over from Christmas Bells to Dasher and Dancer. I'm gonna try to work on Dasher and Dancer all by itself until I get my homework done for March, and then I'll go back to Christmas bells, and then that's kind of my plan. Dasher and Dancer until my assignment. I think in homework a lot, okay? So when I was little, my parents always said, do your homework, and after you finish your homework, then you can go play. And it got so ingrained in me that even as an adult, I try to get my homework done before I play. I was talking to Tara Sullivan of Sully Stitches. She released the new Flosstube, and I was like, I'm so excited. I have to get my chores done so then I can play. And I did it last weekend with the happiest stitches on earth. Have to get my chores done so then I can play. So I think a lot in homework. This is obviously not bad homework. This is really exciting homework, but I'm gonna try to do the Dasher and Dancer SAL homework before I work on other things. This is why I don't have multiple whips. Speaking of which, okay, do you watch The Camping Stitcher? I think I've mentioned her before. Chris, the Camping Stitcher, is fabulous. I love what she stitches. I love that she has just a real soft voice. She buys the prettiest frames I've ever seen. And she was talking about, she has 31 whips. And she was like, I currently have 31 whips. I feel great about it. And I was like, 31, oh my God. That's a me problem. That's not a Chris problem. That's an Emily problem. My gosh. Okay. So I feel a little antsy with 2, but we're just gonna try to push past that. Let's talk about previous finishes. I only have pictures to show you because I have given these things away, right? The first one is something that I did for my husband's best friend. So let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? When I met my husband, he was living with his best friend. And I met my husband online through a dating app, which I used to feel really embarrassed about, but now it's pretty normal. So I met him online through a dating app, and we went on a date. It went really great. I saw him, you know, a day or 2 later. Things were fine. I knew that he lived with this other guy, but then it got weird because for months, like 3 to 6 of them, I didn't know where they lived. And I never saw my husband on the weekend. Like I would see him during the week, never on the weekend. Couldn't figure it out. So one night we go to dinner, and he had plans. I knew he had plans with his best friend. And we left dinner, and instead of going back to my house, we started driving towards the town where he lived, and I was like, oh my God, is it happening? Are we going to meet him? I was so excited. Now, Words with Friends was really big back then. It's like Scrabble on your phone if you don't play it. And so I was playing Words with Friends with his best friend, even though we had never met, never spoken, never anything. So we go to the apartment. The door is locked. The best friend gets up from across the room, runs across, unlocks the door, and is going back to the television. He catches a sight of me. I catch sight of him, and we're both like, oh my God, he's really real. And he's like, oh my God, she's really real. I love this kid with my whole heart. He's a little bit of a weirdo. I mean, aren't we all? Aren't we all though, really? He has a very heavy accent.
I guess I'm yesterday's tomatoes with y'all. Don't call me back, no text, no nothing.
And so we spent a lot of time listening to him talk and me laughing at him. He was a really good sport about it, honestly. And then when we bought our own house, he bought a house near us. And so he came over all the time. And so it was just the 3 of us constantly. Well, he's not from here. And he went back to the land of corn and met a girl, and they were getting married. And so I stitched this cross stitch piece for them for their wedding. We got them another gift, but I like to give a handmade gift. And so I stitched this. Well, we're friends. I'm just going to tell you the truth. She came down and met us, and I thought she was good and fine and whatever. That was on like a Saturday night. Somebody was having a party, and we all went, and it was lovely, and she was fine and all that and all that. Then the next day, a smaller group of people were going to get together, and I couldn't go. I had a migraine. I was sick in bed, like not good, not a good situation. So I didn't go that second day. My husband comes home and he was like, it was really super weird because what's going on with my hair? Really super weird. She freaked out about stuff. She was very standoffish, and I'm thinking, that's strange. And then as time goes along, I'm starting to learn more of her behavior, and I was like, I don't feel good about this. We go for the wedding. They're having a small wedding. My husband's going to be in it with a whole bunch of other boys. We go. It's in this darling town. And she is bridezilla to the extreme. Fine. It's your wedding. Be bridezilla if you want. I don't want to hang out with you, but be bridezilla if that makes you happy. I cried the entire weekend because I said, this is just a huge mistake. This is not a good idea. I don't know how this is going to go. They get married. It's a group of boys, okay? So all the boys are in the wedding. All the wives are sitting on the same row, and all the girls were like, this is not good. This is not good. So it happens. They get married. We all leave. 10 months later, they get divorced. I really super hate it for him. I do. I really do. Turns out she's a bit of a control freak and a felon. She just had a lot of things. There were just a lot of things that he found out after the fact. So they decided this was not good. They were going to part ways. So they have gotten divorced. And I said to him, at some point in this breakup process, not the day he called to say, hey, we're getting a divorce, because that would have been rude. But I said, listen, you're probably not going to want this little thing that I stitched for you. And that's fine. I get it. Two things can happen. I can take your name and established off of it, and you could keep it, or you could just give it back to me. Either way, however you want to do it. If you want to keep it like it is, fine, but you haven't really wanted to keep anything related to the marriage, so you let me know. Happy to support you. Fast forward another 3 to 6 months, and he sends us all a picture of this like burn pile in a backyard. He's got a giant fire pit full of junk from their wedding. It was not junk. They had some really cute things. But stuff from their wedding with the caption like, there's nothing left of this marriage anymore. I've just burned it all. Why? Why'd you burn it? You could have just mailed it back to me. Why'd you have to burn it? So I stitched this piece. I really loved it. I stitched it on, who's surprised, 32 count limestone Lugana that I coffee tea dyed because I didn't want it to look like limestone Lugana. I used all of the called for floss. It was a fun stitch. It's really cute and it's really burned. Finish number 1. Story time. Over. The second piece is not even, I don't even have a pattern for it. The snoring is quite loud today. Let's have a brief aside about the snoring. Want to? So they have this thing with dogs about it takes them 3 days to settle in at a new house and 3 weeks to learn your habits and then 3 months to really become a part of your family. He has been here 11 months and his anxiety is not calming down at all. So he got into a little kerfuffles at camp. We were sending him to camp to learn to be with other dogs. And he wasn't really engaging. And they kept pulling him out of camp. Oh my God, he's they kept pulling him out of camp because he would sort of bristle at other dogs, and they said he wasn't like attacking anybody, but they felt like he was overstimulated. So they moved him to a different room. Oh my God. They moved him to a different room that was quieter, and he liked that better. I gotta speed this story up because my God, it's hilarious. I'm snoring. Jeez. So I called the vet and I was like, listen, it's not getting any better. We went and saw the vet. They think he has high anxiety and they have given him drugs, okay? He has been very different since getting the drugs. He's not anxious as much. He's just seems in general he's been taking them for like a week and a half. It's gonna take some while for them to build up in his system. They also gave us a vent medication. So when he has to go in his crate, we're supposed to give him this medicine. It makes a lot of dogs get sleepy. It makes some dogs act like you've given them speed. So you don't want to give them... Hold on. He did not appreciate me waking him up. Just couldn't focus with him snoring so loud. Okay, so we're supposed to give him a vent medication when we put him in his crate, when we leave. Some dogs, it's like you give them speed. And so you don't want to give them speed and then lock them in a box. So I needed to try it. And I thought today, like, okay, I'll give it a whirl. And they say, give him 1 to 3 pills. So today I gave him 1. He started snoring like a lumberjack. I guess it works. Back to the finishes. I work with a guy who watches Superman and Lois. I don't even know. But this cross-stitch piece was a part of the show. Apparently the final episode was named after it. It's prominent on somebody's wall in something. So obviously I know a lot about it and I'm an expert. Not. But he said, do you or any of your cross-stitch friends do commissions? And I was like, say what? And he showed me what it was, and I thought it was simple enough, and I thought I was gonna have to chart it myself. But then he found on a Reddit forum that somebody had already charted it. Now, somebody on a Reddit forum did chart it, accurate. But I like for things to be symmetrical, and it was 1 stitch not symmetrical. So I made that slight adjustment, but it was a finish, and I did it. And I mailed it off, and he is happy as a clam. I don't know anything about it, but I added it to the book of finishes. So that was exciting, fun, all that and all that. Now, I will say, when I first started this floss tubing thing that we're doing here, I really hated bringing pieces that I had finished, but not fully finished. That drove me crazy. The only thing I have found that is worse than bringing you a finished but not fully finished piece is not bringing you a piece. Like me just talking about this stuff and showing you pictures, I don't like this. This is not fun. Luckily, this is the end of the road for things that I have finished but don't have in my warm little hands. The next thing I will show you guys in episode 8 is from, hold on, I know the answer. He's huffing at me. Apparently he is upset with me for not writing it down. Historical Sampler Company. I was like, I see the name, I'm gonna think of it. It's called Snowflakes and Snowman. I got it from Historical Sampler Company. It is fully finished. So I will be super happy next time to be able to bring that and share that with you guys. So last time I babbled a whole lot. This time I babbled a moderate amount, I guess. Next time we will talk about, so several things are going to happen. Number 1, hopefully, because when will I see you again? You're going to see this video on the 12th. So then the following time I see you is on March 26th. So I better have Dasher and Dancer done when I see you next, or we're going to have a big problem. I'll have Dasher and Dancer. I'm going to talk to you about my needlework stand. Hopefully by then I will have made a decision on my floss drops and I can tell you that as well. That would be super neato. And then I can show you snowflakes and snowman. So I think that we will be in a really great place. This was just like a weird time because for somehow it just stacked up where I had mom's piece, dad's piece, the wedding piece. And then as I was trying to figure out like how to put together a Flosstube episode, I thought, well, let's pull in this commission, even though the commission was done much later, just to get all of those sort of like done and out of the way. And now we can get back, now we can return to our regularly scheduled programming of fully finishes. So I'll have a fully finished next time. And then the time after that, I already have a fully finished, excuse me, from Hands-On Design. I have the Gather Round series. I was a part of the club. I have never done a club before. And I did Kathy's club. Oh, primo experience. I would do any club Kathy puts on. So I'll have that to share, which is great. And then the time after that, I know I'm planning far down the road. I'm sorry about that, but this is just how my little brain works. Then I will have Batter Up by Little House Needleworks. So the reason I'm saying that, there's a point, here it is. Leave me a comment and let me know if you were interested in seeing how I finish stuff, because I will be finishing Batter Up and we'll either be preparing for that video, or if you're like, I don't care, just show it to me when you're done. That's fine too. But sort of, you know, just looking down the line. We got some things coming along. One other note. There were some lovely gals. Hold on, I know their name. Rose Crafty Corner, RHO_S, Crafty Corner. They were so sweet to mention me. I could listen to them talk forever. Oh my God. I think that they're in Australia. It might be New Zealand. It's somewhere across an ocean. Because they were talking about my video of Main Street was recommended to them. And you know, I'm standing in the thumbnail, I'm standing there holding it. And she said, 40 inches is longer than a meter. And I was like, I have no idea how long a meter is. So there's an ocean between us. But anyway, they were talking about how they used to be monogamous stitchers. Maybe they didn't say that. What they said was, now that I'm floss tubing, I might not remain a monogamous stitcher. And I was like, whatever, ladies. And then now I'm like, oh, they might be right. Because I can see where with my needlework stand, I might leave something on the stand all the time and then work on something different, smaller, whatever, at nighttime in the living room. Sans stand, which should give you a hint that I didn't pick a lap stand because I'm not toting a stand around the house. But I thought that was an interesting observation, that might break my monogamy. Says the girl with 2 whips that's having hives because she has 2 whips. But that's it. That's all I got. So thanks for coming and hanging out with me today in the pink room. I apologize for the commentary over here on the couch from Captain Snores a Lot. Apparently, event medication will make you sleepy and clog your nose and make you snore. Whatever. Keep tagging both Carrie, Red Velvet Quilts, and me, Shady Stitcher, in your posts on Instagram so that we can see your progress, because it's a blast to see it. We're so glad that so many of you are joining in with us. Can I tell you something Carrie said? Okay. We're gonna have a little, at work, we do something that we call family time. And family time is when you should say something appropriate but don't. So, because there are things that you would only say to your family. So, family time, here. I was gonna, well, I can't show you on the pattern because it doesn't look like anything. The top row of stitches on Dasher and Dancer, I think they look like registration marks. Carrie keeps calling them boobies. She texted me the other night, was like, look at my progress. I did 8 boobies. And I was like, did we have to call them boobies? And now I can't unsee it. I really thought they were registration marks. Now I can't unsee the boobies. We're very mature here in the pink room. Aren't you so glad that we're leading your stitch along? I hope you guys have a great 2 weeks. I look forward to talking to you next time with something in my hands other than patterns and pieces of paper and not a whole lot. I hope I will have something physical. I know I will have something physical to show you. Let me know in the comments about whether or not you want to see how I finish things. I'll get cracking on that and then give you my updates on floss drops and stands. And you're wonderful, and I appreciate you spending time with me. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye.